This is the Cubs POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Chicago Cubs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Locked On Cubs POSTCAST here on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. Joe George here with you on all social media platforms at Joe George Radio, and the Cubs drop a stinker. Lose 11-0. Cody Bellinger hits 3 home runs. Should have been 4, if not for a great play by Kyle Tucker. But 3 home runs on the day for Bellinger, and the Cubs lose 11-0. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. That was not fun. That was not an enjoyable game. We'll talk about everything we saw for about 15 minutes tonight. Cody Bellinger, the performance from the pitching staff, from Flexen to Wicks, all of it that we saw. The lineup dropping an absolute nothing burger again against a lefty. A lot of bad in this game. Really, the only one play was the Kyle Tucker play. Like, it's the only positive of the game today. Nothing else was good, frankly. I think that this game, not because honestly it was terrible, so like I don't want to talk about an 11-0 beatdown like the whole time, but like I think it speaks to a little bit like a larger problem, honestly, within the Cubs organization. The fact that, yes, Javier Assad, Jameson Taillon, Justin Steele have all been hurt this year, but these 2 bullpen starts have been atrocious. I mean, these guys who have been good in the bullpen this year for the Cubs in this new role, having to do these bullpen games 2 starts in, have been a disaster. Almost as bad as my spelling on my graphic here where I spelled bullpen wrong. But it's just been a total mess, these 2 games. And I think the larger issue it speaks to is that if you look at like the top 30 prospects on MLB.com, right, of the Chicago Cubs, like 90% of them are hitters. There is no pitching development in this organization right now. I mean, the fact that you're going through all these injuries and you have nobody in the minors that you feel confident enough to call up for one game, and really 2 games, because you're here at the All-Star break, but who are you calling up on the other side of the break if you haven't traded for a starting pitcher by this next turn through the rotation? The answer is really nobody. So the organization hasn't developed pitching in the way that it needs to, and it's kind of shown in a game like this where you have a bunch of guys out there who've done well this year but can't strike out guys. That does seem like a problem, I think, for the long-term concern of the Cubs bullpen right now, is the fact that a lot of their outs are just your ground ball out, your pop out. But when you're facing a team like the Yankees, who are going to make good contact, they're going to make hard contact, just like the last bullpen game, you got absolutely crushed. The Cubs just don't have that other guy to even call up. Mark says they called up Cade Horton. Cool, that's one guy. But like, where's everyone else? Like you have no one else you feel comfortable calling up for one game at this point that's a top-level prospect? You've been bad for like 3 years, and you have nothing to show for it in terms of pitching development, just to be honest. Like, I'm frustrated after this game because every time the Cubs start to struggle, they pull what they did on Sunday, where it kind of pulls you back, or not on Sunday, the last game of the last game of that last series, where it kind of pulls you back in. The offense is going really well, and they come back out here on Friday versus the Yankees, and the lineup puts up an absolute stinker. So your lineup is struggling. Your pitching has been a roller coaster this year. You're dealing with a ton of injuries. Like, yes, you are, but so is everybody else. Like, injuries are not an excuse. It sucks you lost Justin Steele, but like Tommy John is just part of baseball now. It's the reality. The Cubs don't have the ammunition in their farm system and in their organization right now to bring guys up and feel confident that they can come up and get outs at the big league level. Instead, you're going for these bullpen games, which 2 of them you've done so far have been disasters. There's no other way to put it. The Cubs got crushed. Flexen wasn't good. Thielbar gave up a couple runs. And then Jordan Wicks, I feel bad for him. Like, I know people have hope, but like, he's out there just forced to take a beating because the Cubs don't want to burn through their bullpen like they did the last time they did a bullpen start. So just an all-around bad game. And I think it makes it even worse to have Cody Bellinger, a guy you traded this offseason. I'm glad they traded him away. It was the right decision. You got Kyle Tucker. You trade away Cody Bellinger. There's nowhere for him to play this year with Michael Busch at first base. And what else do you have in the outfield? But for him to go out there and hit 3 home runs against you, the knife gets, driven a little bit more there in the loss today. So this was just it's an all-around bad one. And I'm not going to sit here and act like this is all on the pitching, but it's the number one problem in a game like this very closely followed by, I guess it's a 1A and a 1B is the lineup. You know, you got 3 hits in the first 3 innings, and then you went like 17 straight batters or whatever it was, if not more than that, without getting the hit. You didn't have, and no one's coming through. And Craig Counsell tried something different. He gave Ian Happ the day off. Nico Horner led off. He gave Matt Shaw the day off. John Birdie got a hit in this game, and it didn't really matter. Like, they're just, everybody is struggling, and specifically, they're struggling against lefties. That problem cannot be ignored anymore. The Cubs this year are 12-15 when they face against a lefty from the mound, and it's so bad against lefties. I don't quite get it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like, it's some big deal to, walk out there and everyone should be good against lefties, but the Cubs are just flat out terrible against lefties right now. Like, there's no other way to cut it. Like, and that's not something that can be fixed at the deadline, to be honest. Like, I don't see, like, one player, if you acquire, let's say, a third baseman, just for an example, you acquire a third baseman, that does not, alleviate your struggles versus lefties. Whatever's going on, the coaching staff needs to, like, get in the lab during the All-Star break and figure out what is going on versus lefties, because the Cubs lineup, honestly, especially against a good lefty, looks like they just have no prayer. Like, you think about this start, like Rodon, like, we know what he is. Max Fried's going tomorrow, but you think back to the Framber Valdez game, the Mackenzie Gore game, a good pitcher that's a lefty comes out there, and the Cubs just have no shot against them. And, it's nice to see Michael Busch still in the lineup, but, he didn't obviously do much in this game, didn't do anything in this game, really. And so that's a nice change of pace, but everything that kind of at times has gone wrong from the Cubs this year shows in this loss specifically. Struggle against lefties, you struggle against good pitching, you can't develop pitching, and you just don't have enough arms in your organization right now to feel confident that, you can bring someone from the minors. It's why all these rumors about the Cubs looking at this player and this player and this player, and Cabrera from the Marlins, I guess he left today's game early for the Marlins. It's why, like, you're talking about mortgaging your future and hitting prospects for pitching, because the Cubs just don't have the guys on the mound right now to face off against the elite teams. I don't think there's any denying that. Like, Boyd and Shota have been, Boyd's been excellent this year, obviously an all-star. Shota's been pretty good for the most part. I mean, not every start's been perfect, but he's been pretty good. But the other guys all year long, we've seen this, have been, left a lot to be desired. Like Colin Ray's last 3 starts, good. But can you do better than Colin Ray? Absolutely. Can you do better than Jameson Taillon? Absolutely. And that's what the Cubs now have put themselves in a position as still one of the best records in baseball, even though, the Milwaukee Brewers are only a game behind you unless they choke against the Nationals tonight as we're live here. And they're going to be 1 game back against you. They're playing the Nationals, you're playing the Yankees. And it's, again, I said this in the last 2 shows. It's very real. Like, and I didn't buy into this earlier, but it's very, very real now that the Chicago Cubs wake up in the All-Star break and they're not in first place in the National League Central. It is a total reality right now with the way the Cubs are playing. They're just playing bad, inconsistent baseball. I think inconsistent is really the key word here. It's not just bad. It's inconsistent. It's the lineup is a roller coaster at times. Again, it's largely been fantastic this year, but of this last month, they've struggled with runners in scoring position. It's a lot of all or nothing. And this game is just another example of that, where even though they had some good contact, I saw Sam tweet this. This kind of felt like the start against Schoolville, where early on there was some good contact versus Rodon, but like they didn't do anything with it. And yes, Pete Crow-Armstrong hit a home run. It was robbed by Aaron Judge. Great play by him. But besides that, the Cubs didn't really have a chance to do much in this game. So you don't even get the guys on. Where at least in the last series, you had the opportunity to bring guys home, even when you didn't have a ton of hits in the first 2 games of that series loss. But that didn't even happen in this game. Like 5 hits total, like almost none by your regular starters. Just a bad day of baseball for the Chicago Cubs. We'll take our break here. We'll let you get your reaction in, your thoughts on the game today, your thoughts on everything are more than welcome here live on YouTube. All coming up next here on the Locked on Cubs postcast on the Locked on Cubs YouTube channel. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. If you need help with an order, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always be talking to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, you can use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Gametime. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day, and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Gametime makes all of that possible. Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying tickets. Gametime has last-minute tickets and zone deals for big savings, like 10% off exclusive zone deals for FIFA Club World Cup matches. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app and create an account and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Or if you're in the chat, a great place to sell your tickets, because that's what seems like a lot of people want to be doing. All right, let's get your questions and comments here in the chat. Christian says this offense is so bipolar, it's crazy. Yeah, there is a lot of that. I think there's no way to deny it. That just it's been, especially this recent stretch of baseball, has been largely so up and down for the Cubs. Just again, a lot of good, a lot of bad that's happened, and not a lot in between. And also the reality is it's not just lefties. You haven't won a road series since June 5th, I think was the final game of that national series. So it's been over a month now since you've won a series on the road, and that's series losses against like the Phillies, the Astros, potentially the Yankees here. Like there's the Twins, obviously. There's a lot to be desired the way the Cubs are playing baseball right now. I think in terms of like fan vibes going into the All-Star break, not great. Like not a lot to be excited about. Now, there's 2 more games left in this series, right? Friday versus Sunday can be very different. If you get to Max Fried, which again, you don't hit good lefties, would surprise me. Doesn't mean you can't win the game, because the Yankees bullpen is really their weakness. But you got to get to the bullpen. Unlike the Cubs weren't able to do that today to do that. So if you're find a way to get a win this weekend in against a series win against the Yankees, yeah, we'll be feeling better. But on Friday night, as we're watching the Cubs lose 11-0 and Bellinger hit 3 bombs against you, those vibes are not good. So the vibes feel like they're going to be bad going into the All-Star break, and rightfully so for the Chicago Cubs. And look, again, I said this in the last show, I think it was, I'm not like panic button yet. I'm looking at it. It's more like what the Cubs do at the deadline. If they don't do enough or don't do a big enough move, or 3, I feel like they're like 1 or 2 or 3 moves away from really getting to where they need to go. I don't think it's a one-player fix for the Cubs. If not just one starter fixes some of the problems that this team has, at least in terms of like how far they can go in the playoffs. That's to me like when the vibes, for me personally, and like the concern can get real. For now, it's a bad stretch of baseball. They're playing bad baseball, and they just got to get out of this. Like they got to get more consistent. Craig Counsell, I'm curious. But the one thing I'm curious about the most from this game, and we'll find out tomorrow, is the lineup change at the top with Ian Happ getting a needed day off because of the struggles. Is that a sign of things to come, or it's just a one-day thing? Like, Is it just Ian Happ's out, Nico's leading off, and Ian Happ's going to be back in the lineup on Saturday versus Max Fried and the Yankees in that spot? Or are we going to see Nico Horner leading off? Because I said I didn't think they'd make that change if they were going to till after the All-Star break. So a little surprised when I saw the lineup today before realizing that Happ was out of it, just, going top down the list. So we'll see tomorrow. I'm very curious to see, what that move is for Craig Counsell, just like what they think they're going to do. Christopher Cole says here in the chat, should have traded Happ and kept Bellinger. Bellinger was too much money for the ownership group. I don't think that's not going to blame Jed Hoyer for that move. But it's just, Chad asked, why was Bush hitting 8th? Look, I'll take a W that he's in the lineup against a lefty. Like that's fine with me. I'll take it. He's in the lineup. That doesn't surprise me that Bush is much lower in the lineup against a lefty. Like Craig Counsell wouldn't play him for 90% of the season so far against the lefty. So 95% probably, honestly. So the fact that he's in there hitting lower in the order doesn't really shock me. I'm just glad that he's in there for sure. A lot of trash talk being here about the Yankee Stadium. Yeah, look, I think it's a little Mickey Mouse for sure, but does it matter? Like, they scored 11 runs, you scored 0. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't really care if it's Mickey Mouse. Like, that's not why you lost. You lost because your pitching was bad. Like, yeah, I think I don't think it's great, like the dimensions that are out there, but like, it is what it is. Like, if it was so Mickey Mouse, then where's everyone else from the Cubs hitting balls out of the ballpark besides PCA being the closest one to do anything, competent, in this game from the lineup perspective? Like, yeah, it's not great, but at the end of the day, like, it's just the Cubs didn't do anything in this game offensively. So yeah, all bad for the Cubs in this one. Great catch, Kyle Tucker. That's the positive from the game today. That will do it for us here on the Locked on Cubs postcast on the Locked on Cubs YouTube channel. Also, wherever you can find your podcast on Apple and Spotify as well. So thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with hopefully a much better result for the Cubs versus the Yankees, game 2 of this series. Matthew Boyd versus Max Fried. So thanks for watching. Talk to you tomorrow. Peace.